Social Security, and the recent announcement. It's completely wrong. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in this video, so let's get right into it. Alright, so just a few days ago, we got a very important announcement out of the Social Security Board of Trustees and their annual report to give us a better idea of what the finances are looking like for this very important program that sends out monthly benefits to tens of millions of beneficiaries every single month. Well, after looking through the report a little bit further, there are some major discrepancies that I want to point out for you because this is going to impact the finances of this program for a very long time going into the future. So let's get into it and discuss all these details. However, really fast before we do, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. I am your one and only daily advocate, and I am very much dedicated to you and this community to continue doing all the research, breaking it down into these short videos so that you can stay updated every single day as it pertains to your money, your benefits, checks, raises, reform, or anything else that may be coming up right here, right now that may impact us directly as a result of these very important programs like Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, seniors, older adults, and of course, people with disabilities. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into the details of what is being mentioned out of this report. All right, so first off, the annual report released by the Social Security Board of Trustees is a pretty nice report. It comes out each and every year, and it was just released a few days ago. But there are a couple discrepancies here that I do certainly want to bring to your attention because even though they do their best and they do give their best estimates as to things that are going on right now, there is one number within this report, actually a couple of different numbers, that are going to impact benefits in a big way going forward. So here's what they actually found. And again, I did talk about this the other day, but let me quickly give you the rundown on this just in case you didn't see that video. So basically the Board of Trustees came out and shows that Social Security will be insolvent. In other words, they're totally good to go until 2035. So we basically gained another year of solvency with the program, based on everything going on, payroll taxes being collected, all kinds of different factors. Basically, we have another year to go before this program could potentially be facing insolvency. So 2035 is the new timeline. Now, at the same time, we also did understand and we did learn from this announcement out of this annual report that at the time of insolvency, if that actually does happen, they'd be able to pay out 80% of promised benefits rather than 77% of promised benefits, as we learned from last year's report. So we actually gained another 3%, which is, again, pretty nice in the event of insolvency. I don't foresee that happening, but just in case it does happen, that would be where we'd be sitting. All right. But here's the thing. These numbers are based on some very important inflationary data. Now, let me give you these numbers and let me point out where I think this is actually a little bit wrong. So here in 2022, based on what the Board of Trustees actually calculated based on their best inflationary numbers, they took into consideration a 4.54% increase in inflation this year. I don't think it's going to be that. Just saying. I don't think the annualized inflation rate for this year in 2022 is going to be 4.54%. There's no way. Inflation has been over 8% here over the last several months here. There's no way that the annualized rate of inflation this year is going to be 4.54% unless we get some major things coming forward here over the next few months between now and the rest of the end of 2022 to actually lower inflation virtually down to zero, to average it all out at 4.5%, right? There's just no possible way. So the simple fact that these numbers were calculated off of a 4.54% inflation rate, I think is being a little bit unrealistic, because realistically, we're probably going to be looking at inflation maybe conservatively around 7%. Maybe. It's probably going to be even more than that, 7.5%, 8%, possibly even higher than that percent for the year of 2022. Again, things could still change, but probably not likely. However, the numbers are also calculated on the inflation rate of 2.33% in 2023. Again, highly doubt it. There's just no way. 2.33%, that is running on par with what the Federal Reserve actually wants interest rates to really be. There's no way. There's no way that inflation is going to be only 2.33% next year when basically everybody is saying right now we're going to be seeing this inflation going like this probably for the next 12 months or even 18 months. That essentially bring us out to the end of 2023. So just saying, again, anybody could be right, anybody could be wrong. I'm just simply saying that these numbers were all calculated off of these inflation numbers that currently with the current inflationary environment that we're in right now, it just seems really unrealistic, okay? Next, for any years going beyond 2023, the inflation rate was 2.4% according to their calculations. So again, maybe by the time we hit 2024, maybe we'll be sitting at 2.4% inflation by then, but that's a year and a half from now, right? So that's going to be a very long time. And maybe by then, yes, I could foresee possibly 2.4% inflation going forward after that, at that point, right? So maybe by then, yeah. But for this year in 2022, 4.54%, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I think that is way too low. I'm going to say, I think on the low side, we could be looking at maybe an annualized inflationary rate in 2022, maybe 7%. Maybe 7.5. It's probably going to be very high. So anyway, now again, this is going to skew all the numbers out of this annual report, out of Social Security, because if all of a sudden everybody gets a cost of living adjustment that is, say, 3% or 4% higher than what they've calculated with their numbers here, this is going to throw off all kinds of numbers with the annual finances for Social Security, right? It's going to throw off the insolvency date. It's going to throw off the annualized payments going out. It's going to throw off all kinds of different financial numbers when it comes down to Social Security, just based on, say, a 4% discrepancy between what they calculated from and what is actually going to be as far as inflation this year in 2022, right? So again, only time will tell on that one. However, here's what else is interesting, and maybe you'll find this to be interesting as well. They're also projecting for 2023 total payments to be going out of Social Security at $1.1698 trillion. That's a big number. Let me say it again. $1,169,800,000,000. No, am I saying that right? It's such a big number, it's like I don't even understand it. Sorry, let me say it again. $1.1698 trillion. Let's just say that much. So you write the number out if you want to see it. But my point is, it's a huge number. But according to their numbers, this is what the total benefits are going to be paid out as next year in 2023. That's a lot, right? So a little under $1.2 trillion going out the door. It's unbelievable, right? So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to look at these numbers like this because that is like unbelievably high, right? However, I want to throw this out there as well. According to the report also, they are showing that the trust funds are showing a balance. Again, the trust funds have available $2.852 trillion. Pretty cool, right? It's a lot of money, a little under $3 trillion available. Now you might be thinking, but wait, they're going to pay out $1.1698 trillion out of that $2.852 trillion next year? Yes, but remember, they also have a lot of money coming in through payroll taxes. So on one end, it's money's flowing in through one side and money's flowing out through the other side. So it's like a culvert, right? I don't know. There's probably a better example than that. I'm just simply saying it's like a tube. Money's flowing in on one side, money's flowing out the other side, right? So I don't know. There's got to be a better analogy than that. It's just the first thing that came to mind. Not really sure why I thought of a culvert or a tube, but this is kind of what that's the way that I'm wired, I guess. I think about, I don't know, culverts. I have no clue. Anyway, that's the report that came out. So here's what I'm saying about this. It's not that the report is completely wrong. I'm not saying that at all. The report is great. In fact, the Board of Trustees has done some really great work here, as they always do. But I do think that 4.54% inflationary number calculated for 2022, I'm going to say this much. I think it is way too low. I think it's probably about 4% low. Realistically, if I were calculating these numbers, I would have calculated on the conservative side just because I want to see what, in the worst case scenario, where is the trust fund going to be? What is the trust fund going to look like? And what is the insolvency issue going to look like in the event of the worst case scenario? Right? We can always calculate the best case scenario. That's always best. But what if the best case scenario does not happen for the next 15 years or 13 years? Well, then we're looking at an insolvency issue that's coming way sooner than what we planned for, right? So I would always want to run the numbers as a worst case scenario. But again, that's just me. And that's just how I like to do things, because I want to know if things hit the fan, if things get really bad, what is the worst case scenario? So anyway, that's where I'm seeing all these numbers kind of being a little bit of a discrepancy. Anyway, this is a report that was released. I do have another dedicated video talking about this from maybe, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 days ago or so. As the report was released, I have those details for you in that one if you want to go back and check it out. It's titled something along the lines of Social Security Board of Trustees Annual Report 2022. I think that's the title of it. You can just scroll back and check it out if you're interested in watching that one. Anyway, hope this one helps you out. I like to be here for you in any way that I possibly can be, breaking all the numbers down, giving you all the details and how it's going to impact your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, whatever it happens to be. I want to be here for you and let you know what all is going on right now. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media. And as always, go back and check out some of the other thousands of videos right here on the channel. Until next time, please enjoy your day. Stay safe. Have a good one. And I'll catch you again later in the